On October 7th, 2023, the terrorist group Hamas broke through Israeli defenses with a large and well-planned barbaric attack, killing thousands of people. Israel, in defense and retaliation, has bombarded Hamas and Gaza from the air. A land incursion into Gaza is also in progress, killing thousands of innocent civilians and complicating the long-term issue of what is known as the Palestinian-Israeli conflict. We will dive into the events of this specific war, its perils, and implications for the region at large. This war is connected to the larger Palestinian-Israeli conflict. We may take an opportunity later to discuss the history behind this conflict. The contemporary history goes back about a century, but claims and counterclaims to all of the land in question go back multiple centuries. The scope of this history is too large for us to discuss here, but we want to do some summarization of the current situation. The Gaza Strip is a densely populated section of land of about 2.2 million people, mostly Palestinians. It is located at the banks of the Mediterranean Sea, about 38.5 miles or 62 kilometers from Israel. Israel had control of this territory until 2005, when they relinquished control there. The territory is essentially governed by Hamas, a group that has been designated by the US, Israel, and other nations as a terrorist organization. In summary, rocket fire and conflict between Hamas and Israel has occurred off and on throughout that time and to the present. On October 7th, 2023, Hamas attacked Israel, breaching their border and security, killing around 1,200 people and taking about 240 hostages. It appears that there was no warning given, and that Hamas may have kept knowledge of the attack from some of their own militants to accomplish their goals. Why Israel's intelligence did not pick up on any information about the attack is a question that has yet to be answered. In response and in self-defense, Israel has launched attacks on Gaza. It is also currently operating a land incursion into the Gaza Strip, beginning in the north and turning to the south. In these operations, as of this recording, the death reports are around 18,000 Palestinians. While this number cannot specifically be verified, it is thought of as generally correct, given the record that the UN and other international institutions have of verifying the information. The general dynamic recently has been a fight over land, particularly the West Bank, another territory where the Palestinians reside, but occupied by Israel and where Israel is expanding settlements. This, along with the constant conflict and violence, mostly by Palestinians, over the broader arguments of statehood, territory in the general region, history, and ideology. It is tit-for-tat conflict that has gone on for a very long time. That, however, does not excuse the actions of Hamas on October 7th. It is generally acknowledged that this attack was a barbaric terrorist attack in the vein of 9/11 in impact for Israel. Israel will defend itself and its security. The US is its ally and will assist them in that action. There are, however, a number of questions about the current situation and Israel's methods that should be at least discussed between allies. While it is clear that Hamas is not afraid to use human shields and hide in hospitals, it is also clear that far too many Palestinian civilians are dying in this action, and that a humanitarian crisis exists and continues to grow in Gaza. This is very likely raising and not reducing the risk of wider conflict with other groups like Hezbollah and other terrorists who see excuses and opportunities to increase attacks on Israel, the United States, and its interests, and troops abroad. We can see how these decisions have broader implications for Israel and the United States. Another question has to do with strategy. Once Hamas is defeated, what will the nature of the consequences be? Can a better governing body arise for Gaza from this conflict? Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has stated that Israel will maintain a presence in Gaza going forward. This will likely increase insurgent forces and instability in the region. Are there plans, strategies, or thoughts to address these long-term threats? Finally, the stated goal is to defeat Hamas, yet how will this strategically be achieved and defined? Does this mean to render Hamas incapable of doing what was done on October 7th, 2023? or something more? Careful and difficult decisions have to be made here. The continued high civilian death count and the increasing humanitarian crisis may be part of a short-term increase in security, but be extremely counterproductive in the long run. Hamas is not a nation-state. It is a terrorist organization that governs a territory and gains part of its support from some of the local population and outside forces, namely Iran. Short-term and long-term goals must be considered. If it has not become apparent already, these questions are informed by the United States' own experience in fighting a terrorist group. The road leading up to 9/11 and its consequences display a degree of success, but also carry numerous lessons in multiple mistakes that create unintended consequences. While Israel is in a different part of the world, and some of the battlefield dynamics are different, many of the principles and lessons are applicable. One could easily argue that a number of the same mistakes are being made to this point. It is a hope that terrorist groups can be defeated, but it is also a hope that in the long run, that there will be groups on both sides that will be interested in peace, a two-state solution, and effective governance.